So I want to talk about, well, we're just talking off camera, which is you used to be a streamer. So you saw this setup and you said, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why you wanted to become a streamer and how it went down?
Okay, first of all, I didn't try to be a streamer to be mainly a streamer.
Okay.
It's mostly just I want to do something else. So I tried other different hobbies, actually. I think I mentioned it to you before that I did calligraphy, Japanese calligraphy as well. So
Super
many
cool.
things, yeah. I tried archery before, bought a bow, couldn't use it anymore because it's in the
Bought
Philippines.
bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just trying out new things.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm still kind of a YouTuber, photographer, and yeah.
Would you happen to have an Insta that you wanted to plug?
Yes, yeah. Please follow me on Nandemanas at Nandemanas on Instagram.
How do you spell that?
NANDEMONAS.
Okay. And so in your attempt to become the world's most interesting man, you've done calligraphy, streaming, archery, and YouTubing.
Yep.
And you're also a pretty damn good engineer. We worked together for a little bit, full disclosure. But you came in like just coming in hot. Like you were like, you already knew what you were doing like, from the very first day.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it comes with the experience, actually. Like in my previous job, I'm already handling a lot of stuff that even moving to different jobs, I already have, like, it comes naturally to me, like the responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think you've had quite a long career now already in software engineering. I think it's like 7-8 years already.
Yes. I think I'm past 8 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did around 4 years in the Philippines
Mm-hmm.
before coming to Japan.
Yeah. Were you doing mostly web dev stuff for the entire time, or?
Yes, web development. But first, my career started with Java, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a certified Java developer.
Yeah.
So
I always wonder, does the being certified, like, is that a big deal? Is that like being like a certified lawyer? Like
in
I passed the
some
LSATs?
companies in the Philippines, yes. There's this one. I used to have this dream company before that I've heard that to get promoted, you have to get and more Java certification because they're really a Java dev shop.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took it in attempt to like maybe I can apply there, but then Japan came, opportunity in Japan, so which changed my career path from a Java developer to a JavaScript developer.
I see. And who's making money off these Java certificates?
I guess Oracle.
Oracle.
Yeah, definitely Oracle.
Okay. So take me back to the time working in the Philippines as a software engineer. What, like, did you enjoy your work in the Philippines?
Yeah. I used to work. I worked at 2 companies in the Philippines. They're both consulting companies, so like company with a lot of like projects. Whoever comes in and they say, "Hey, build us an app." So yeah, I've worked on different projects. I enjoyed it because I got to experience other technologies. But I guess the first job was stressful because the company's client are mostly governments, and they're pretty. They change a lot of stuff, and they also have a lot of restrictions. Like for instance, we had to support IE because they don't like Chrome.
Okay.
Because Chrome updates too fast that they don't have time to do a security check on the version. That's the reason.
Well, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And then IE is in those situations even better because the updates are.
Yeah, for them it's better because they can security check it before letting their users use it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Were the government people, your clients, impressed with your Java certification?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And while you were working in the Philippines, at some point you decided to move to Japan.
Not really Japan. Well, okay. Moving back. It was my dream to just live in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was applying to different countries, I applied everywhere. America, Canada, Amsterdam, Singapore, and then I got some offers from Singapore and Japan actually. It was like choosing a path where I want to live, and then I thought I wanted to live in Japan long term. Why not just pick Japan, even though the Singapore opportunity has better salary and so on. And yeah.
And so what made you decide on Japan as opposed to Singapore? Because Singapore has low taxes, right? That's what I hear.
I'm not sure. Actually, I mean, aside from high salary, I don't know anything. Well, also, the Filipino community is bigger there, I think. They have Jollibee.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like good reasons to choose Singapore, but what happened?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just Japan sounds so... If you haven't been to Japan, Japan just sounds so a place where you want to go at least once in your life, right? And that's something I thought about it back then.
So were you already building your resume as the world's most interesting man at this point?
I don't know, maybe.
No, because I didn't know. Yeah, you've done all of this, and like, it's like super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I had plenty of time.
Like, weren't you scared about moving to Japan? Like, the first time?
I was scared, yes, because it was my first time living alone. I was living with my parents, like other Asian families are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so new to me. But luckily, I have relatives here that supported me when I was starting up here.
Nice. Like, what were some of the challenges that you were facing when you moved here?
The biggest is language barrier.
Yeah.
Aside from watching animes with subtitles, I don't know any Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that got fixed because my previous company, my first company here in Japan, provided Japanese lessons.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how's your Japanese now?
The last JLPT exam I took was N3, but I failed by 2 points.
Ooh.
So I guess I'm around that level, maybe even more. But
Can you live in Japan without any Japanese, like at all?
if you live in Tokyo, yes, I'd say yes. Every place, even though some places doesn't really speak Japanese, but they can English, but they can actually understand limited English, which you can get by moving your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you've been in Japan for a while now. Like, how would you compare the Philippines to Japan? Like, for somebody that's in the Philippines that's like thinking of moving to Japan, like, how would you describe it to that person?
I think Filipinos know this already, but anything's better than Philippines at this point. So, yeah, the commute is very reliable. Japanese trains are very reliable. They're always on time or almost always on time. When I was working in the Philippines, my commute to work was 3 hours, one way.
One way?
One way.
So 6 hours a day?
Yes. So I had to take a bus and then train. And it takes...
That's like a full work day that you spent on the train.
Yes, exactly. That's why even 1 hour here, for most people living in Japan, 1 hour is already 1 hour commute is already tough. But for me, anything less than 3 hours is fine. So that's great.
Tokyo must be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than the commute, is there anything of note that you would tell people in the Philippines?
Just living in Japan?
Yeah, about like if they're considering moving here.
It gets lonely here if you don't try to go out of your way and find your own community. I think for me, I'd say I was alone here for like a year. I mean, of course, you have work friends, but work friends here is very different in the Philippines. Work friends in the Philippines is like having your high school friends, like close friends. You can call them anytime. You can invite them anytime. That's easy making friends if you have some kind of community. In Japan, it's very different. If you want to schedule a meetup with someone, you have to schedule them way ahead, even 1 month ahead.
Yeah.
So that's difficult, especially if you want to make Japanese friends. So I think you have to go out of your way to find your own community here, be it like from other Filipinos as well, or some activities you like. Let's say I do photography. I found a photography community here as well. I used to try futsal community, but I'm not really sporty, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you've done all of these things to find your community here. What has worked the best in terms of finding your friends here in Japan?
Worked the best, huh? The best would be like find something you really, really, really love to do, and for me that is photography. That I can talk to anyone when it comes to camera equipment. That's really what I enjoy. So finding people with the same interest, then that's easily the best way to find your own community here.
Nice. And your community here, is it like mostly other Filipino people, or do you have you been able to make like Japanese friends as well?
Yes. Actually, the photographer community here that I have, it's mixed. Some are Filipinos because the events we go to are organized by Filipinos, but we have models who are Japanese or from Thailand and so on, different places.
Nice. Yeah, and like coming to Japan, like has the food been okay for you? Like in terms of like, is it better back in the Philippines? Is kind of my question.
Japanese food in the Philippines is expensive. It's like premium stuff.
I'm talking like Filipino food. Though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that it's hard to compare. But when it comes to Filipino food, of course, it's something I grew up with. So I'd say it's better. But living here for almost 6 years now, I got used to Japanese food.
And where's the best Filipino restaurant in Tokyo?
There's one famous one. It's called New Nanay's, which is in Roppongi.
Okay.
It's near the Philippine Embassy, actually.
Yeah. Okay. New Nanay's.
Yes. Nanay's is a Filipino word for mother.
So new mother.
New mother, yeah.
It's the stepmother guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to talk a little bit about you at RESTAR, right? Can you talk a little bit about why you chose RESTAR?
Okay, I chose RESTAR of all the companies I applied to because I wanted to try startup or a smaller company where my impact is like really important or like my decision making is more important because in my previous companies, they're already established. Like, the project is already started up by someone. All the decision making is already done. And I wanted to do more of that. That's why I think RESTAR would be a great company.
Have you experienced the fact that it was true? Like you wanted it to have impact. Do you feel that you have an impact at RESTAR?
Yes, definitely. RESTAR, I'd say, is the real flat company hierarchy-wise that I even get to voice out my opinions to our CEO Uno-san because we often go to the office together. I mean, we see each other often. Sometimes he consults with me with regards to anything front end or any like the design of the application that we have. So I'd say yes, I can feel that I'm actually contributing here. But just based on that I get to talk to anyone and give or receive their opinions about the project.
Yeah, I feel like, is there somebody that you work most closely with? Like as a software engineer at RESTAR, I know you can talk. You said it's the most flat organization.
Yep.
But like, can you describe like how the team is like structured and how it works a little bit?
Like engineering team or the whole?
I guess like who do you talk to in terms of as a software engineer? Like I know, like there's Uno-san, and then who else do you talk to?
I guess that would be Megumi-san, which is our product manager, and there's also of course our CTO Yokota-san, because if there's anything big regarding to the project, I have to talk to them. Or if there's a feature and I have to run most of the questions to our product manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess the difficult part, I guess, is to work in a Japanese product in English, right?
Yes.
As a, like, what does Restart do to help you finish your features, like work on what you want to work on in like a Japanese like language environment, as well as while being an English speaker?
Well, right now, I guess it's just having people, asking people if the Japanese is correct, if ever are going to write messages, or it's just that the labels are already given. So it's just easy to understand for us, English speakers. Aside from that, I guess Restar actually is going to offer language lessons as well. So that would help other non-Japanese speakers learn the language.
Yeah. And how did you find the interview process at Restar?
I think it's a nice way. It's very casual. Yes, it's actually good that you get to talk to the whole team, not just one person reviewing your code exam or whatever. And the last part, which is culture fit, you get to actually talk to the whole team. I got to talk to the sales team, even some analysts, and of course the CEO as well.
And who is a culture fit at Restar? Like, how would you describe this, like, on a representative person who does well here at Restar as a software engineer?
I'd say Jean.
Okay.
But I guess
how would you describe John?
Jean's very intelligent developer. He really loves Elixir. But you can see just by talking to him that he's had this like a very strong experience with everything, that he can give opinions even on stuff that he's not very familiar with. But the good part about it is that he's really open to opinions as well. Like if you can say that, if you think that this is better based on something, then you can easily discuss it with him, which is, I think, a representative of Restar's culture, where you can actually give your own feedback as well, and then be heard, of course.
Nice. Yeah. So talking a little bit more, I guess, about Johnson, what makes him the, I don't know, like quintessential developer? Not quintessential, but no, somebody that does well here at Restart. Like, other than you said that he has both strong opinions, he's intelligent, and he's got the experience, like the battle scars to talk and to think about all kinds of problems. Is there anything else that comes to mind?
I guess that would be the last one would be, like, he's really humble when it comes to something that he doesn't know. Like, he can have his own assumption based on like relative knowledge. Like, of course, in software development, once you know something, you can easily translate it to another similar thing. Like, let's say frameworks or languages, right? So even if he doesn't know what or like not fully know what something is, he can just say what he thinks, how it should work. And of course, if you can say that, that's not how it works for this particular thing, then he can just he will openly accept it.
Nice. The backend is written in Elixir, right? And I don't think you had any experience before you came to Restart with Elixir.
No, yeah.
How was your experience, like learning Elixir and becoming productive? Because my images of you is you were productive from like day one. Yeah.
I tried to.
Was it easy to learn? How did you find it?
Elixir is a fun language. I really like its feature, which is pattern matching, which apparently is already present in other languages, actually. One of my, I guess, deciding point on picking Restar, even though I don't know the language that they're using, which is Elixir. So one of my close friends advised that I should learn one crazy language, and that is Elixir for him. That's why I said, okay, I'll try this.
Yeah.
But yeah, learning Elixir is very fun, and I think it's easy. It's easy to learn actually.
Yeah.
It's more of learning some context that's only the Elixir community knows, that the Java that community I had or JavaScript community I had has a different opinions on.
Yeah. How would you compare the, like, let's say the Spring framework and I guess Phoenix, which is what you guys use?
Yeah.
In terms of like working within it, like just in terms of developer happiness, is there any difference?
No, I don't think there isn't. Both Spring, especially Spring framework, which I actually used before, does a lot of magic that can be compared to what Phoenix's magic does. So I'd say it's the same. You just have to know what needs to be known.
Okay. Yeah. And like apart from salary at RESTAR, like what does RESTAR offer in terms of what you can learn about the culture you can be a part of? Like what are the benefits of working at RESTAR apart from salary?
Benefits. Well, there's one benefit that I'm the only one benefiting from, which is the office location.
Okay.
I live just 2 stations away.
Yeah.
And which is, I think I'm the closest employee here right now. But other than that, I don't think they would list it in like job boards. But I find it great. I find it a benefit that everyone is young and also an expert on each of their domain. Okay, the first part is being young. So I used to work at a company where everyone was basically late 40s. It's hard to connect with them because, of course, I was in the 20s and they're 40s. It's hard to, it's hard to befriend them. It would be weird if you hang out with them and then get drunk, right? So I get to connect with more people here because they're almost close to my age. The next part, like the experts on their domain. So aside from the engineering team being good at their like what they do, for example, the analyst team or like sales team is actually former employees of our former, like their job is the customers' jobs. Our current customers' jobs is like their previous jobs.
Oh, so they used to work at like those kinds of companies doing that role, and now they're doing sales for that.
Yes.
Okay.
So they know how the customer works, which means that you can ask for their opinions and it will be mostly correct. Because in my previous organization, I mean, in the Philippines, we have business analysts. But that means that they're not really an expert on the business of the customer. They just know by asking. But you don't know if actually that's what they want, right? And having this domain experts be inside the company that you can actually just ask for opinions is actually a great perk because you can make even better software just by knowing that.
Do you think that it's necessary for the software engineers at RESTAR to have some domain knowledge of real estate to work well? I think it sounds like there's a support system as well, but I mean, is it necessary to have domain knowledge at all? Or like,
I wouldn't say necessary. It would help, of course, if you're trying to create something big, something new. But I don't think it would be a necessity for you to join RESTAR. Yeah.
What would be a necessity? Like if you were going to advise somebody that was thinking about joining RESTAR, what would you say is like, hey, you should probably be this kind of person, or your goals should maybe include this? Like, what would those things be?
I guess as a kind of person, you have to be open-minded, especially for those with more experience. Of course, you'll be opinionated because of your experience, but usually those are fit to your previous work or like your current work that might not be applied or can't be applied to like other companies, not just RESTAR. So you need to be like open-minded.
Yeah. Would there be anything else other than being open-minded?
I guess you really have to see. I mean, how do I say this? For me, I saw the value in the product. I really believe that this can be something big, and I wanted to be a part of that. So, yeah, I think you need to find the application like Remittance that we sell to be something you're interested in. Because if you just want to find the next job, then probably it's going to be hard to actually enjoy working at RESTAR.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. Do you have any advice for somebody like in particular that's trying to get past the interview stage at RESTAR? Would you have any advice for them?
I would say always review your exam answers. The technical interview at RESTAR is basically going over your test answers. And if you didn't review it, if you ask you something, and then you the first response would be, let me check my answer again. That doesn't seem like you're prepared enough, or you didn't know your answer enough for you to just answer right off the bat. So I'd say before going to interviews, be sure that you've reviewed what you answered because it came from you in the first place, right?
Yeah. What do you personally look for in the interview? Like, how do you evaluate candidates? Like, what do you look for? Like, I know each person has their own thing, but
during interviews, I leave the technical aspect of it with the other interviewers, like John or Adam. But for me, I personally look for things like how they answer it, how they think, and whether I'd want to work with this person.
Yeah.
So if they answer too defensively or aggressively, that doesn't sound like someone I would want to have a discussion with.
Yeah. So I think you answered this question as well. But yeah, what makes you want to work with somebody? Of course, like the passive aggressive answers are something I don't really need in my life. But is there anything else that you would say, hey, I want to work with this person?
It's hard. It's just like, I guess, intuition. That I've worked with a lot of people that I can already read them based on how I talk to them. So it's not really, I guess, a good factor, but I do factor it in when deciding whether this person is good or not. So yeah, if someone is giving up like murderous vibe, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah. And if somebody is like considering applying to RESTAR, is there any advice you would have for them? Like, what would you say about RESTAR that says, hey, like any advice for them?
Hold on. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Sure. So if somebody has two offers, one from RESTAR and another from another startup, what would you like? Do you have any advice for the specific person? Like if your friend was like, hey, should I work at RESTAR? What would you say?
I'd say yes, they should pick RESTAR, mostly because our team is very collaborative. You can discuss any aspect of your work with anyone, and then they will most definitely have something to say about it. And it will be an open discussion that if you have a better one, and of course you can raise it and then come to a conclusion that that works best. So comes with it, the collaborative aspect of it comes like the quality of code that we write is really, we try to achieve the highest code quality. That's why we try to be more very open to opinions with everyone. So having like, if you want a collaborative team, then I'd suggest you pick RESTAR.
Nice. And just before we end, can you recommend any books for software engineers about getting either their technical skills up or thinking about their career in tech or in software engineering?
I can't recommend any technical books, but I did enjoy a book called Phoenix Project.
Yeah.
It's not really about like technical skills, I guess soft skills, like people skills, and how you so basically the Phoenix Project shows you what not to do in teams. So I think I got a lot of lessons from there, that like what not to do. Like for instance, don't rely on just one person, and document every decision done by any person, so that even if they take a vacation leave or even if they quit, you can still have some documentation on what to do here, what the decision was for doing this thing, and so on.
Yeah, that does sound like a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything from your own personal experience to add to that? What not to do in teams? It sounds like a funny topic to discuss. Yeah.
What not to do in teams?
So you said don't rely on one person.
Yep.
Document stuff. So, if they go away on vacation or, they quit, the machine still keeps going on.
Yeah.
Do you have anything from your personal experience to add to that? Something you've done or that you've seen as well? It's really cool. What not to do in teams?
What not to do in teams? Don't update production code. Don't configure production environment directly. A lot of things can go wrong. Maybe you missed a space and now the production server is not running. So yeah, never touch production directly.
Who should touch production directly?
Once you can, but I mean, you shouldn't directly. Just make sure that you've tested it before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As in, like,
yes,
don't change the file that controls everything.
Yeah, if you have a staging AWS setup, if you're adding some notification stuff there, do it on the staging first before doing it in production.
Yeah,
and try to think of some edge cases, of course. Point is, don't try to modify production directly.
That sounds like wonderful advice.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jonas.
Thank you.
His Instagram is nandemonas.
Thanks for the plug.
NANDEMONAS. You can follow him. Jonas, thanks for doing this.
Yep.
And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.